in an increasingly complex economic, political and cultural landscape. It's incumbent upon us as a sector to look forward, future-proofing our trusts and trust documents.
Capacity is very different to the way that we used to think about it a number of years ago. There's a gradient, there's a whole lot of different forms, it can happen over a whole lot of different ages, people can come in and out of capacity.
Somebody may have capacity to go and do something very basic, like spend £100 buying groceries from the supermarket. But that same person may well lack capacity to spend £100,000. You have to look at the particular transaction and then work out whether there is capacity.
Settlors tend to be very successful, skilled people, and they're therefore pretty good at masking when they're struggling to have capacity.
If you have any concerns about capacity, the best thing that you can do is make sure that you go and have a face-to-face meeting.
Having regular touch points with the communicator, whether it's the settlor, the protector or a family council member, is really, really important. Normalising the conversations around capacity, regularly asking questions so that they feel standard. I find that those visits to clients can be absolutely revelatory and they can really turn the dial right up on client care.
The case comes to mind with a man in his 90s running a multinational. The family was saying, Dad is losing his marbles. And I was called into the situation. I went in, I interviewed everybody. I went to his closest and dearest, which was his assistant, who had been with him for close to 45 years. And we went into Central Park and we sat down on a bench and I said, tell me, look what's going on with this family. It's terrible. What do you think? I mean, you're the person that you know him best. And she started to give me examples in the reading of documents, randomly giving money, plus which she told me that how he was falling over. Nobody knew about this. You really have to be forensic. Having a trusted doctor around who's been in the family for a long time does help. I said, why don't we just go and have let's make everybody happy and just go and do a couple of tests. And it's exactly what we did because he wanted to prove he was okay. And we went and we did the tests. And he had the start of Parkinson's disease. You have to be elegant in dealing with it. How you deal with families and how you mitigate that risk of conflict.
There are steps that can be taken when a trust is first set up to try and avoid issues with capacity or vulnerability in the future.
One of the things I find useful as a professional is to bring up potential physical frailty as a way into a conversation where you feel that you may get some pushback or not be taken seriously. And I think that by talking about sudden physical events that can affect capacity, you can quite often open the door to what can be quite a difficult conversation, particularly if you're a trustee of a huge amount of wealth and that person just doesn't want to know.
One of the most practical and helpful things we can do is draft the trust well in the first place, properly setting out what happens when someone in the trust, whether it's settlor or power holder, etc., loses capacity, but also really spelling out what tests should be applied and who should assess.
Be prepared to trust your instincts and to resolve problems about capacity before they escalate or, even worse, cause a cascade of problems within the administration of a trust.